No, Southern Virginia. Oops, sorry.
Mass shooting in this country. Overnight, a gunman opened fire in a Virginia Walmart. Just a few moments, we're going to hear from one of the eyewitnesses, an employee at that store, who says she came face to face with the shooter.
At least 6 people were killed inside the store, and several victims are being treated at a local hospital. Jay O'Brien starts us off on the scene in Chesapeake, Virginia. Good morning.
So, bro, this fucking dude, did you guys see the one I'm talking about? This dude's reaction to fucking surviving a mass shooting is insane, okay? I'm sorry. Like, if anyone has the link, please send it to me. You know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. It is literally the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life, dude. Like, I feel like mass shootings have become such a commonplace, such a common occurrence that, like, people that experience it, oh, here it is. Here's the fucking video. I mean, dude, listen here. I'll just show you the video and you'll understand.
Just left out the break room. Manager come in there, started capping people up in there. Started shooting, bro. Like, I'm whole though, y'all. Sadly though, we lost a few of our associates. I don't know how many. I'm not gonna speak on it. I'm not gonna show it because I ain't like that. But I'm whole, y'all. The story is that. I mean, I came in. Goddamn,
what's going on here?
Shooter. Goddamn. Yeah.
Bro, I was just about to come in and get some snacks.
Ain't getting them now.
That interaction in and of itself is so insane, bro. It's like it's like gallows humor at that point. Like, he's so incredibly chill. Someone's like, "Oh man, I can't get my snacks," and the guy goes, "Ain't getting them now." That's like, what is happening in this fucking country, bro? What is happening in this fucking country? It's got to be shock, right? I'm thinking he's in shock because, like, I've never seen an immediate reaction. Like he just straight up, he's like, "Nope, not getting the fucking snacks now." He's like, "I made it out."
But pretty much, the manager came in here, started dumping, man. As soon as I left out the break room, he went in there, man. By the grace of God, yo. Man, I don't know. That shit wild.
We just did the motherfucking active. He waited till everybody was in that motherfucking break room. And you know what? I saw him when he was in the office.
Bro, I live near Chesapeake and I used to go there. That's so fucking scary. Like, he just walked out. By his own accounts, he had just walked out. He had just walked out of the fucking room that the shooting happened. It's nuts.
You all right?
No.
I know. I'm talking about, are you all right?
This is the Facebook Live that he shot.
You call your son?
I just played dead.
Bro, he's saying this like he's still in the fucking parking lot, brother, which means, like, you know, he couldn't have walked out of the fucking room that the manager opened fire into not that long ago. You know, he could have very easily been one of the dudes.
This bitch on some old. He it's wild though, bro. It was the manager, one of the managers. Shit is savage out here. I'm whole though, y'all. This shit ain't goddamn. Yeah.
What's it called? Dude, and it was like 2:09. I was about to walk in, and then all of a sudden, it's crazy. I was like, where is gunshot?
That's
Yeah, I'm good. You know, I come for this. This shit ain't nothing to me. Bro blew his brains out and everything. Andre. That's how he killed the girl in there and everything. He came in that bitch, started spraying and shit.
There's a video of the manager / shooter being super chill and joking from earlier in the night too. Wait, what?
He killed Brian. Oh, no. Yeah, shit savage, yo. I'm sorry for the victims. That shit sad, man. Brian, janitor. Little Brian. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Little Brian with the cornrows, janitor. That's what they said. Sarah on the ground, well, over there with the police.
The shooting guy? The guy's on the ground?
No, Sarah's on the ground.
Who is that shooting?
Andre.
Andre?
Andre.
Andre?
Yeah.
Little manager guy?
Yeah.
Why he shoot everybody?
I couldn't tell y'all. I don't know.
What the hell?
Yeah, manager.
You got people inside of the
Nigga, it just got real up here, y'all.
I mean, look, it could be shock. It could be literally a fucking a coping mechanism. I mean, he's talking about it like some veteran friends I have that like that recount some of the experiences that they've had that is traumatic, and that only comes from like literally experiencing it over and over and over again until you're just like, so it's either like immediate shock or it's just a regular trauma response from seeing a lot of violence, both growing up and in your, in your life in general, that you're just like, he literally says that he comes from this type of shit. For some people, they go through this shit a lot. I mean, dude, that's crazy. No one is going through this level of it, though. Chill video, the manager.
Just left out the break room.
I used to work at this Walmart. I talked to that manager every day. I could have never known this was coming.
Capping people up in there. Started shooting, bro. Like, I'm whole, though, y'all. Sadly, though, we lost a few of our associates. I don't know how many. I'm not going to speak on it. I'm not going to show it. We already saw this. I ain't like that. But I'm whole, y'all.
Right? Anyway, let's just...
Morning, Jay.
Michael, good morning. This is a small city now facing tragedy the day before Thanksgiving, a busy shopping day. We've had people walking up to us here clearly shell-shocked, including distraught employees of that Walmart.
How the fuck did you read it then? Because Azerbaijani, like Azeri Turkish is like Turkish. Like people in Azerbaijan can understand Turkish that is spoken and written in Turkey, but people in Turkey cannot understand it, vice versa, or kind of understand it. I don't want to say it's like broken Turkish, but it's just a little different.
402 1521 Sam Circle at the Walmart for a gunshot wound.
Overnight, a mass shooting at this Chesapeake, Virginia Walmart.
This is Super Walmart Greenbrier. We heard several shots inside probably 20 minutes ago.
6 people plus the shooter killed after witnesses say a store manager went into a break room and opened fire just as employees were gathering for their shift.
At the Walmart, 16-year-old male is conscious, is breathing, causes a gunshot wound. Occurred now. There is serious bleeding, not responding normally. We have police en route and on scene.
Several victims have been rushed to local hospitals as a rescue and recovery mission began.
And we did basically like a tactical entrance and movement in the building. We located multiple fatalities and multiple injured persons.
Officials saying because the store is so large, many people may have been hiding, prompting fear that victims may not have been immediately located.
It's sad, we're a couple days before the Thanksgiving holiday. I mean, anytime it's sad, it's just a bad time all around, it's just for everybody involved, especially the victims. Like, this is horrible.
Witness Terry Brown telling our affiliate WVEC what she felt in that store.
There are no words. There are just no words. To see this unfold, to be a part of it, and to know that this crime occurred so close to me, and I was literally in that store, is terrifying.
Walmart releasing a statement saying, "We are shocked at this tragic event at our Chesapeake, Virginia store. We're praying for those impacted, the community, and our associates." Local, state, and federal law enforcement are all on scene here. So far, investigators have not released much about the suspect or any possible motive, but we're expecting to hear more from police and city leaders this morning. Michael?
All right, Jay O'Brien, thank you. George?
Okay, Michael, thanks. Let's bring in Brianna Tyler, an employee at the Walmart in Chesapeake. Thank you for joining us this morning. Brianna, I know you're on the phone right now. First of all, how are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm still processing things, but I'm okay.
So much to process. You were arriving for your early morning shift. Then tell us what happened.
Yeah, so we all gather in the break room in order to just figure out what department we're all going to be in, what section we're all going to be working in, basically. And basically, as soon as my team leaves, said, all right, guys, we have a light night tonight. I looked up, and my manager just opened the door, and he just opened fire. He wasn't aiming at anybody specifically. He just literally just started shooting throughout the entire break room, and I watched multiple people just drop down to the floor, whether they were trying to duck for cover or they were hit. He just opened fire. He looked directly at me, but luckily he missed my head by like an inch or two.
Oh, my goodness. Was he saying anything?
No, that's the weird thing. He didn't say a word. He didn't say anything at all. I literally hadn't even seen him before that point. He just came around the corner, and he just started shooting. The first person that was in his eyesight, he shot him down, and the next thing you know, he just started ringing throughout the entire break room, but he did not say a word. No, sir.
What can you tell us about the manager? Had he given any indication that something like this might be able to happen?
When I'm not gonna lie, I have only been there for about 2 months, and when I first started, I did hear that he was the manager to look out for because there was always something going on with him just having an issue with someone. But I never expected it to get to this level of an issue. Like I don't know of anything that had happened recently for him to just overflow with these emotions. But yeah, he was the manager that everybody had something to say about, pretty much.
But nothing like this.
No, nothing at all. I would have never thought that he would do something like this. Absolutely not. Especially when, like I said, we were all literally just getting to our shift. The night hadn't even started yet. If we all clock in at 10, and by 10:12, they were calling the police saying that he had started shooting.
Well, Brianna, I'm so sorry. Thank you for sharing your story this morning. Our hearts are reaching out to everybody in your community right now. We're glad you're okay. Thanks very much.
No.
Several victims remain hospitalized, and we should note this marks the third mass shooting in Virginia in fewer than 2 weeks. Let's take you to the scene now with CNN's Brian Todd, who's live there for us. Brian, what are we?
I just I don't know what to say, man. Like every fucking week, like every day, there's another mass shooting. Every fucking day. Like, what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to just act like it's just a normal part of life now? Like, I don't know. Just, oh man, it's hailing today, watch out. Like, you better have your snow tires and your fucking bulletproof vest ready. Like, what the fuck? It's just unavoidable. Like, it literally is unavoidable. That's why I showed you the fucking response from the one guy who was like seemingly unfazed by it all because he's just experienced it. That's his just regular existence. That's his life, Weather reports, traffic reports, and mass shooting reports. Yeah. Nothing trending on Twitter about this too, Sag? Yeah, I noticed that as well. I think there was like one trend where it said like Walmart, but Twitter trending has been like fundamentally broken for a minute now. Like, Twitter trends have been absolutely just eviscerated because that stuff was curated. So they're not exactly doing a great job with the curation any longer. I think they basically automated it, and they just only use like personal curation to shut shit off. Like, that's crazy that this is literally not a trend in America. And I don't even think that it's because I don't think that it's not trending because like people aren't talking about it. People are talking about it. Yeah. It's just wild that it's not on the news tab. It's wild that it's not on the trending tab. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? That's crazy. Like, 17 in. Stop using Twitter. You add a lot of value to the platform. Man, what do you mean? Like, that's how I source my fucking news. Doesn't see his name trending for one day broken. What? No, I'm not talking about my name. My name was trending last night. That's not what it is. Fucker says stop platforming Twitter. Like, how brain broken can you be at that point, I won't see this, but nobody seems to care other than the left. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to say. I understand in a fucking weird way why people are unfazed by this. Because like, even if you're a liberal, the sense of helplessness and hopelessness sets in, even if you're like a well-intentioned person, right? Like, after a certain point, you're just like, well, what can we do? What can we do? Not really anything you can do, right? Just another part of reality in here. There's nothing you can, there's nothing you can do to take like collective action. There's no mechanism of change in our system. So I don't know. Not doing anything is no option though. I mean, dude, I'm going to keep advocating for the things I advocate for. Make no mistake. I'm just stating that like, as it stands currently, it doesn't seem like there's much you can do about it, right? Not even just the NRA. This is a more complicated problem than that.
Learning about what happened.
Right, Boris, and to reiterate again, the new reporting from CNN that the shooter's been identified as Andre Bing. We got a statement from Walmart a short time ago. I'll read you part of it. Walmart, this is according to Scott Pope, Senior Director of Global Communications for Walmart, who sent CNN a statement saying the alleged shooter has been identified as Andre Bing. We can confirm that he was a Walmart associate. Andre's position with the company was overnight team lead, and he's been employed with us since 2010. They go on to say they are thankful for the first responders and continue to work with law enforcement in the case. We have been pressing Walmart all day on whether there were any disciplinary proceedings ever initiated against this employee or whether any other employees had complained about him. But what we have not gotten an answer from Walmart on that yet. But what we do have is an account from
It happens every day, usually more than one time, and those are just the psychos who work up enough anger or whatever makes them do it. So many others are just incubating. Yeah.
Brianna Tyler. She is an employee who earlier spoke to ABC News and was telling us that the shooter was a manager who she was told to, quote, look out for because there was always something going on with him, just having an issue with someone, end quote. She said that she had been gathered with her coworkers in a break room just before their shift started. She looked up and her manager opened the door. That's when they saw the shooter opening fire. She said she told ABC that he was not aiming at anyone specifically, that he didn't say anything while he was shooting, and that he looked directly at her but missed her head by an inch or two. But this was an account from an employee who says that she was told to look out for him. Now, again, we have pressed Walmart on that to see if anybody had complained about him, if there was anything that was said or enacted, any complaints filed about him to Walmart that maybe had not been acted upon. They have not responded to that yet, or questions about whether any disciplinary proceedings had ever been initiated. But we do have the name of the suspect, Andre Bing, and according to law enforcement sources, he killed 6 people inside the store and then turned the gun on himself. Boris, we were told by police that he used a pistol. We've been pressing them on whether other weapons were used. They say that, to their knowledge, they have no knowledge of other weapons. Boris.
Brian Todd, we appreciate you pressing for those answers for us. Thank you so much. Let's discuss further now with former FBI senior profiler Mary Ellen O'Toole and also with a CNN contributor, Jennifer Macia. She's a senior news writer at The Trace, a nonprofit outlet dedicated to covering gun violence. Mary Ellen, I wanted to start with you because law enforcement is just starting to share more details now. What stood out to you about this incident and hearing?
Bro, our radars are so advanced, dude. It's crazy. Every motherfucker with a gun is on a radar somewhere, but for some reason it never turns into a positive outcome. You never hear about like, well, this guy was on the radar, so we stopped it actually before it happened.
From that employee who was told to look out for that manager, what does that say to you?
Well, a couple of things really stand out. And the first one is that the shooter walked into the break area where he knew his employees were likely to be and started shooting. That certainly suggests planning, thinking ahead of time how you're going to carry this out. And then secondly, with the employee saying that she had been forewarned that there were some issues about this individual suggests that there might have been complaints formally filed with Walmart about this person and their behavior.
And Jennifer, when police laid out the timeline, I thought this was interesting. There were 4 minutes between the 911 call and police entering the store. That's a relatively fast response time. What does it tell you that the shooter in that short window was able to inflict that much damage with a pistol?
Well, he was apparently in a break room at close range, but the majority of gun violence and mass shootings are perpetrated with handguns. They are concealable. He was able to get that far because he didn't walk in with an AR-15. He walked in presumably with a handgun concealed under his clothes.
What are the questions at this moment from an investigative standpoint? Clearly motive, but the gunman turned the gun on himself, the police say. But the other thing that just strikes me is the gentleman we had at the top of the show and then the witness there speaking in almost matter-of-fact tones about this, as if it's something they talk about all the time.
Right. I mean, it is part of our culture and a part of people who are in their 20s and 30s. We don't call them generation lockdown for nothing. The 20-year-olds, like the woman looked, like the people in the room look like, the people that we're talking to, 20 and 30, those are people who are used to, that's a generation that's used to the idea of mass shootings in a way that I think even people in their 40s and 50s are not. Talk to anyone in their 20s and 30s, and they call themselves generation lockdown for a reason, and they're also in shock. So I think that their sort of description that may seem a little bit off-putting right now to us, it may be just that they haven't even processed what they were so close to. So the investigation, it's actually narrowing. Last night I was on through the evening. We didn't know what it was, and Walmarts are large, and you don't know what kind of shooter it is. It now appears that he's known. The reason why he was at that store is known. Maybe we don't know the triggering event. We know the weapon, and the victims are an isolated group, unfortunately. So the investigation will mostly, and you have a dead killer, so there's going to be no trial. So the investigation's mostly going to go to motive at that particular moment, what issues he was going through, and then also what kind of did supervisors know that he might be a danger? Did Walmart know? Those kinds of issues will be investigated as well.
And you watch them play out. And again, I can't find the right word for this. I get depressed every time you do one of these stories. And sometimes you think you do so many of them, you would just learn to blaze through it. I would just show you a graphic here. There are 20 mass shootings involving casualties of 5 or more people, 5 or more fatalities across the country. There have been 600 plus mass shootings so far in 2022, which is why this is Louise Lucas, the state senator, Carrie Cordero from Virginia, saying, save me the thoughts and prayers. We need to do more.
What?
A lot of us didn't get much sleep last night, did not rest well, and will not rest well until we get a handle on this gun violence. For all the people who are saying that their hearts and prayers go out to these people, I don't want to hear any more about that until they get serious about gun violence prevention.
In this case, again, the Congress is not poised to do anything at the moment. But if in a case of a semi-assault weapon or AR-15, you have one conversation. This is someone who worked there walking in with a pistol, as you heard one of the witnesses saying, a manager she's been told to watch out for, so anger issues of some kind. Is there anything here from a legislative standpoint? Is there anything that can be done about this?
Well, the difficult policy issue is whether or not the country or individual states want to try to restrict access to weapons. From a law enforcement, Homeland Security perspective, this is mostly about trying to identify whether there are warning signs and having friends and family members bring those to law enforcement. So that's something that Virginia State Police, for example, want people to be able to bring individuals to them and bring warnings so that law enforcement potentially can have a better idea of how to prevent it. But, you know, at the Center for American Security, we did a survey of a focus group of cross-section of Americans to try to figure out what are people most afraid of. And mass shootings by far topped the list. And when we were looking at the timing of when could we actually do this survey, we thought, well, there was just we did it last summer. There was just the Buffalo shooting. And then we looked at, well, what if we would have waited a couple weeks and we would have run right up into Highland Park in Chicago? There is no good time because this happens constantly in America.
Happens constantly in America. And Juliet, to the idea that you mentioned, Carrie mentioned Buffalo, that was a supermarket. This is a Walmart, a big box store. Among the softer targets, if you will, especially in the holiday season, employees going in and out, people going in and out. I mean, in this case, somebody carrying a pistol, easy to conceal.
Yes, I mean, look, there is no society that you and I want to live in where you can be safe, right? Because what would that mean? It mean your experience of going to the store, your experience of walking down the street would be so fortified, it's not even worth it anymore. So the idea that we can defend our way into this solution is it's ridiculous at this stage. This is a Walmart. I don't know what kind of security they had at the door, but this was an inside threat. You're not going to be able to stop a manager who is, hell-bent on wanting to kill employees. So we will continue to have a never-ending conversation about gun control, but I think Carrie and I are also reflecting on a sort of, I think we have to admit it, that without that gun legislation, it is going to take a stepping up by community members, family members, about whether someone in their midst is a threat. They have got to consider the rest of the community and not wish it away. This is where we are now in the absence of control over gun and gun usage and responsible gun ownership at this stage.
Latest now.
We covered the Colorado one already. Yeah, I mean, look, if you can't attack the core problem, which is like widely available guns, then you got to look for other